if you've been watching my videos, I bet you've seen me analyze the market by going deeply, that is trying to do top-down analysis, understand the market. That is because for me, I believe that Forex is somehow a code, so I need to decrypt this code, try to understand what the market is doing, what price is doing, so that when I'm taking my entry position, basically I'm very confident in that trade. Because the last thing I want to do is enter a trade that I don't know what price is trying to do or what price is trying to communicate. Now today's video, I just want to show you how I go through with my top-down analysis slowly by slowly, so you need to be keen, watch it, and also I believe you can learn something from me, right? So real quick, I'm just going to dive into the market and show you what I'm talking about. So if we talk about this market right here, let me just start from the daily time frame. Sometimes you don't need to go basically the daily time frame, right? I can just open the market, and once I see, probably I might see a sign, a pattern, just a pattern, then try to construct or draw my market from that pattern. So for instance, I can come to the market and I just see, I just see something like this. So I can just start my analysis based on that setup or all that pattern that I've seen. Sometimes it's not all about trend, right? So I can come to the market, for instance, I see a head and shoulder, right? If I see a head and shoulder, then that is where I start my analysis from. If I see a double bottom, that's where I start my analysis from. I can see a Marubozu candlestick, start my analysis from that, right? So let me just show you real quick. So for instance, this is corn futures. I want to show you how I just did this analysis, what I saw, what caught my attention. Now this right here, right? So that is what caught my attention, right? So if I remove everything, let me just remove everything for you to see. This is how the market was. I opened my screen, then I saw this, and I'm like, yo, I've seen this pattern. I've seen this pattern for a while, and I know what price usually do. So I started constructing this market based off this joint right here, correct? Now from then, after constructing that, then I add more confidence, add the trend line, because I do follow trend, right? So the reason why, let me just show you right here. So if you look at this 1 2 3 right here, 1 2 3, I like saying 1 2 3, or for those who don't know what I mean by 1 2 3, I mean touches, first touch, second touch, and the third, right? So we had a first touch right here, second touch, and the third. Now there's this right here. If I bring in this right here, that's a pattern, that's a shape. Those who know about Forex, pattern and shapes, I believe you know about that, right? Now if you see, we have a break. So definitely, if we have a break after every impulse phase, we anticipate a correction. Because why? To me, all this is just an impulse phase, right? So once I saw that, and I'm like, this one looks amazing. So the next thing that I should be waiting for is just correction, a pullback, and try to capitalize on that. Because for all I know is the market will always come back, or the market will always pull back to take those who are left behind, right? That is me included, right? So the market left me, right? Because I never saw this pair. So the market left me, and now I know the market is going to come back and give me another entry position. So what am I going to do? Let's just before we continue analyzing the market, let's just try to zoom out more and understand the market right now, because we understand basically that she has a possibility of going up, but we need to add more confidence so that we are basically in the right direction. Good. So this is how the market is looking like when we zoom out. Even if we try to add more confluence, I can go to the weekly real quick. Remember, I just want to make sure that we have basically at the third touch, of course, and let's just see. So if you look based on the weekly, we had a support level right here, correct, and of course we had a resistance, correct. Now we see that the market was dropping, but let's just do this. If you look to the left too, you can see we had this level marked out. Let's just mark that level too, and now the market basically has already taken out this previous lower high, right? So how did price break out of that previous lower high? Is giving us a continuation, which is just a sign to tell us that I want to continue going up, correct? Now bringing in more trends, 1 2 3, once again we had 1 2 3 right there. So we see, yes, that has been broken, and to me, I might say this is just another possible left shoulder right here, head, and now price is trying to give us right shoulder, correct? Now if you understand, just like I said, understand how price is approaching support or a resistance, right? Now we had our resistance right here, right there. That was our previous resistance. So we need to understand how price approached that level, right? So if price wanted to continue with its downward trend, yes, we could have seen, yes, she did blah 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 that. Then the moment she hit this level, we could have seen an impulse phase, then another correction right there. But remember what caught our attention based on the daily time frame and the 4 hour. Remember, right now we are basically at the weekly time frame. Remember what caught our attention was that small pattern. So our analysis is based off that small pattern. So we saw price did this based on the weekly time frame, and now when we try to zoom in, we see a Marubozu candlestick. What does that mean? You know, a Marubozu candlestick or an engulfing candlestick, you know, that tells us that bulls are basically in contour, right? So let's just go to the daily time frame. But before we go to the daily time frame, we can try to add more trends. 1 2 3, just to make sure we are in the safe side. 1 2 3. And then if you try to understand, if you try to extend this trend that we've just come up with, this one, this big one, if you try to extend this, I bet you can see that, you know, price broke out of it, then now came back to retest. Then the moment she retested, then gave us that pattern that, you know, gave us the idea that, yo, we should be looking for buys, right? I hope you guys are with me. So let's just go to the daily time frame. Oh, come on, sorry, what's that? Just a minute, let's just take it back. Just a minute, let's just, that was not the intended, right? So right, so let's continue. So if we go to the daily time frame real quick, so this is it. See how the daily time frame is really looking nice, behaving as anticipated, right? So there's also another tool that I came up with. Basically, it's in TradingView, but I think nobody takes that tool serious. But then I'm not going to tell you about that for now. Let me just continue for testing using that tool. It's just on this TradingView. It's not an indicator or anything. It's just this analysis tools right here. So that one also always give me more confidence, right? So yeah, so right here we see our trend line, the main trend line from the daily time, weekly time, this one, you see price broke out of it, came back and retested. Then now you might call this as a double bottom, right? Then now she broke. Yes, she broke, but how is she giving us a pullback? That's also another question right here. So the next thing that we should be understanding is the pullback nature. How is she pulling back? If she pulls back with the impulse phase, then we stay away, right? Because every impulse phase we anticipate correction. But then if she pulls back with the correction, then we should be getting ready to go in, right? So we go in and hit the H4 real quick and see what price is doing basically right here. Now for those who trade order blocks, SMC, ICT, this is your time now, right? Because I say, before incorporating ICT, you know, SMC, whichever strategy you're using, try to interpret the market fast. I don't have a problem in your strategy, because all I know, every strategy works. Even if you trade candlestick, it works. As long as it works for you, go for it, right? You don't need to, you know, do what I'm doing. Use the strategy. As long as it makes sense, go for it, because that is why I keep saying, as long as it makes sense, we go for it. Everything is about probability. If it makes sense, go for it, right? So for me, this one is making sense, right? So let's go. Correct. Now the next level that we should be understanding or looking out for is just a possible pullback zones. So the next one, or the immediate one, should be this, that one, then the next one, I think this one too, and this right here. Now if you use what's this Fibonacci tool, I bet you can identify your zones and see where the 61 zone or the 50% or even the 30, where the market will bounce off. Just see how price is going to react around those levels or those Fibonacci zone. Then once you get your opportunity, go for it, right? So for me, I'm just going to I don't need this. I think the next thing, just add another 1 2 3 right there, and then do the same, do the cloning right here. Just clone it, something like that, right? So I know price might do this, then boom boom boom, then go, right? But add more confluence, make sure you're on the safe side. If you look at this market clearly, there's also that trend right here. If you like, you can have it maybe based from that joint to that joint right there. So I've seen a scenario where, you know, the market does this, just as in anticipated. The market comes and does this, blah blah blah, then goes up. Then that's when the price comes back to test your trend line. Then taking out, right? So that is all I do. Wait for price to come and hit my trend line, giving me first touch right here, second touch. So basically I'm waiting for that third touch, because that is where I usually look for my entry position, the third touch. If the market is not at the trend line, I'm not going to take the trade, because I'm always trading market. So for instance, if we anticipate price maybe blah blah blah, but then it comes back and hits our trend line. Now if you look to the left, for instance, there's this level right here. So that is the possible level that she might hit. Then look for my entry right there, because we understand from the daily time frame that this market has possible of going all the way up. We might target all the way up, that is if you're greedy, or target a risk to reward of at least one is to the right. Good. Now Forex is introducing futures. Of course, Forex launched futures on Friday, that is yesterday, on Thursday, day before yesterday. And now if you guys want to trade futures, you guys just see how futures market is so clean, there's no noise. So you can join Forex futures, link in my description box below. And of course guys, I'm also giving free signal on my Telegram group, so check out link also in the description box below. And also if you want to get funded, that is if you want just trading Forex, you don't want to venture into futures, same thing, link in the description box below. So check out the links that I talked about. If you don't see in the description, you can check in the comment box below. And adios, amigos, peace.